Hi, my name is Marta Fowler. I'm the owner of Playform Fitness Academy. I am new to this area, but I'm not new to the business. I was operating a successful business called SminkFIT Incorporated in Ancaster since 2018. And I've had an affair with fitness my whole life. I started at 15 and started my business late in my 40s. So what I cater to is mainly clients who are in the same age group as me. But because I started so young, I'm able to provide age-appropriate services to all age groups. So at the moment, although I work with people of all ages, most of my business is conducted with youth, 12 to 18, and adults 40 over. And the reason for that is that during the pandemic, I saw my teenage son really suffer with isolation and just mental anguish. And that really brought me back to my teenage years when I began training. I was 15, immigrated from Poland to Canada. It was incredibly difficult to incorporate myself into the new world. I couldn't speak English, and it was incredibly frustrating. I discovered the gym and I began to go regularly, and I didn't realize at the time that this was literally saving my life, because it was so tough trying to fit in, and the kids were not, this was not your American Pie kind of movie. My situation was very different. So fast forward, to 20 years old, I'm in college and I'm still training, 25, 30, all through my life, trying to get married. So I want to look good when I'm trying to meet somebody. Mm-hmm. I actually met my husband at the gym. And then, we started a family. So now I'm trying to get fit after the baby. Then when my child is growing up, I'm doing mommy and baby programs. So everything that I've done my entire life ties into the situation that I'm in at the given moment. So with that said, when I got into the business, I was 40 years old. I began training clients of all ages at the time. And they would come to me before they were getting married. Now they're coming to me after they had a baby. Now they're coming to me with the baby for the Baby and Me program. Then they're coming for couples fitness with their husbands. So everything that I do is a reflection of my own life, where I'm at a given point. But with that said, I've done it all, because at one point, postnatal was all I did. So I know all about it because I had a baby, I delivered a child, I was going through the physical emotions of pregnancy, the mental roller coaster, the hormonal roller coaster, being affected in a way that I always had a perfect physique. Now, it's been ruined. And I had to learn to not only recover physically, but also see the value of my experience, and accept the fact that my body now tells a story of childbirth, and many women, I find, they really struggle with that after the baby. They feel like they want to get their pre-baby body back, but they can't. It's never going to happen, because your body now has a certain experience. So I'm trying to show them how to embrace that, experience, and see it as a positive, and see their body for what it's done for them. And it's delivered a child, maybe two, maybe three. So then, when you have a family, your relationship suffers. I found that everything that we did was revolving around the baby, and our relationship had suffered. So couples fitness, because I found, why not introduce a program where a husband and wife or partners can be together and train together, because they never have time for each other. So I thought, if they train together, they're building their bodies again, and they're building their relationship. They're making it stronger as a result of spending the time together. Instead of taking turns going to the gym, they did it together. So with that, lots of other things developed. And I don't like to think of myself as a jack of all trades. I don't want to be the GP of fitness, but the reality is, I've been doing this for so long And I have this unique experience. That's why I'm able to design programs for people of all ages, and they're successful because I've executed them successfully up until this point. So at the moment, most of my work revolves around youth fitness. Again, this is because I have a teenage son who is deeply into fitness. I don't know how that happened. He actually comes to me for advice. And
That's
you know,
good.
like as a parent, you're never the authority, right? Ever. So I don't know how I did it, but it happened, and I'm very pleased. And because I'm training him, it helps me develop effective programs for the baseball academy players that I have. And I have about 60 baseball players between the ages of 12 and 18. And I use my son as the measuring stick, as the standard against which I compare all the other kids, because I know what is possible for kids and I trust my child. I've trained him, so I know what other kids can do in order to develop their strength and conditioning for baseball specific. So that, I would say, consumes about 50% of my time between the months of November and May. And then after that, most of my work revolves around people over 40. And I have moms who have kids late now, you know, because so many of us waited to succeed in life and they're having kids later. So I have new moms with 5-6 month old babies. I have couples. I have people generally over 40. But if somebody comes to me for any type of requirement, any type of need, I'm not going to check their ID because there's no need for it. I've done it. I know how to do it. And I feel very confident in my ability to deliver a very effective and successful service, results, AKA, because I have the confidence and the competence based on my experience.
Talk to us about the wall here.
Okay. So I find huge value in writing your goals. So everybody who comes to my gym, you know, I ask them to write their goals on the wall. And this is wall of goals, basically, bucket list. There's
Motivational type.
motivational, and then
I see.
there's like on the other walls you see specific goals. So the kids will come in and they'll write their goals for the next 10 years. So recently I asked a bunch of 9-year-olds, okay, what are the bucket list things, 5 top that you want to accomplish before you're 20? Most of the boys first on the list, kiss a girl, get into MLB. Like, you'll see the things that they write and they are amazing. So these are goals, inspirational words. Kids put their names. I have graffiti like this all over the
gym.
place. And it's really amazing. One time I saw a mom who is a heart surgeon. One of her kids plays baseball. And I saw her standing over there looking at the wall. She was reading all these messages and just thought, oh my gosh, this is so sweet. And then she started reading one with really ambitious goals. And at the bottom, she realized that was her son's goals. She started crying.
Oh,
She
very
started
touching.
bawling. This, you know, doctor she came in her scrubs from the hospital to pick him up from the game. She was literally in tears. So that was pretty amazing. When the parents read their kids' goals, the reaction is just unbelievable. So bucket list, goals, jokes. I also have a catastrophe wall where everybody who makes a mistake has to draw me a cat. So I have about, I don't know, at least 150 cats drawn over there. So
We'll take a tour around for everybody to see the gym as well with all the writing.
So
on the
when
wall.
somebody makes a mistake, it's a catastrophe. We draw a cat, and everybody loves participating in that game, and it just normalizes mistakes, you know, and focuses on improvement. So
Well, thanks very much, Marta.
problem.
Appreciate it. So what we're going to do here, nice meeting you.
likewise, yeah.
We're going to introduce Melissa quickly just for a quick segment on prenatal. And I'm going to hand it over to Melissa now quickly just for a quick little interview with you. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you so much, Jeff. So we're going to talk to Marta a little bit about her prenatal and postnatal services that she offers in Fitness Over 40. So I'm going to get into a bit about what you offer these women post baby and into your 40s. So over to you. How do you feel about that part of your business?
Well, again, having the personal experience, it's natural to me. A lot of my clients have been with me for a very long time. So by the time they conceive, they've already worked with me. As a matter of fact, I've had at least 6, maybe up to 8 clients that were told they could never have a baby, who began training with me to get healthier, to deal with the stress and anxiety and the depression of having to accept that they couldn't have a baby just to get pregnant. It happened time and time again. I had one client who was never going to have a baby, got pregnant. And when she came to me, she was sick. And I knew right away she's pregnant. I knew that look. And then she came for training again after the baby 3 years later to get fit. Started working out. A couple months later, boom, pregnant again.
That's amazing. It's the stress is a silent killer.
I'm telling you, amazing. I have a client now that returned. Her son is now 14 months old. She was going to have in vitro. Her and her partner planned to have a family because she was too small. She was underweight. So she gained about 15 pounds with me, went from 98 pounds to 120. Then, boom, first IVF, pregnant. And they froze 5 really, really strong eggs. Like incredibly strong eggs. The doctors told her they've never seen anything like it. So the pregnancies, my own clients were depressed because they couldn't have babies. Now they're pregnant. So of course they're coming to me because they saw this miracle happen. They're coming to me for the postnatal, or prenatal. For the prenatal, it's really straightforward and simple. So there's a lot of, squatting, breathing exercises. You got to protect the baby. But if you have training experience, you can train pretty much up until the end. And we just modify exercises to not
Compressed.
compress the baby, right? So most of them will come after the baby. And I actually have a former client now who has a 5-month-old. And she knows exactly what to do. She's been with me for a very long time. And I find the women who have the babies who, like later in life, they already have some type of fitness experience, but they're not doing it at home. Mm-hmm. They know what to do. They're not doing it at home. Mm-hmm. So they come to me mostly for accountability, although they also feel safer because I know how to put them through a workout in a safe way with the breathing exercises and all kinds of modalities that doesn't make the situation worse. What I find a lot of times when a woman has a baby, the abdominal wall separates, and nobody in the hospital tells you that you have to wait until it completely closes before you can resume exercise. So again, I would have to say that at least 80% of my clients, they don't need a trainer. They're actually very fit women already, but they're always, they want to stay on top of their game. It's always the last 5-10 pounds. So they're never really out of shape. So most women, if they don't know what to look for after the baby, they get back into training as soon as they're cleared, 6 to 8 weeks. And what happens sometimes, especially if you have a C-section, the abdominal wall doesn't completely close. So they train because they push. They're so used to pushing themselves. They're so resilient. They're so strong that they actually end up doing a lot more damage to their abdominal wall, creating this pouch and that they can never get rid of because they're not realizing that their wall never closed properly. And they were just doing more and more damage by doing all these old school exercises that were only harming them, So that's the biggest thing. And I find the women that come to me for postnatal, all of them, every single one of them, shocked when I showed them what we're dealing with. So we're measuring their DI, the diastasis recti distance. Mm-hmm. So the wall needs to be only 1 centimeter separated. It's never 1 centimeter. It's usually like 4 to 5. Mm-hmm. So they'll never see the results in their abdominal area as long as that remains open, right? So if they're pushing through the traditional exercises that used to work, that they used to rely on, that were so effective, and just going crazy trying to figure out why is this not working. So they're trying harder, they're pushing harder, they're doing more and more and more, making it even worse and worse and worse. So these clients know my story that happened to me, and I didn't know anything about diastasis recti. I had an emergency C-section, and I had this loaf, what looked like in my stomach, and that's what it was. And for a while, I didn't know that I was harming myself. It took 4 years to correct the problem. Well, actually, it took 4 years when I learned what was going on, and then 2 weeks to fix it.
Right.
2 weeks, 4 years of pain. I thought I was going to have knee surgery because my quads were compensating for my butt not working. So my own personal experience. And at the time I wasn't like full time. That was still the time where I was kind of working part-time. It wasn't my official job. It's only later through continuing education that I've learned, like, oh my gosh, I've been hurting myself because nobody at hospital told me about this. So but all of my female clients who are pregnant or have been pregnant who've worked with me during or before the pregnancy, they know my story. So they come to me for that. And I'm able to help them have the results faster by circumnavigating the problem that I, had with my own experience. So.
And it probably affects their mental health, working so hard and not seeing results.
Absolutely.
So to come to you who
Absolutely.
actually knew a solution for that problem
Yeah.
just brought them so much joy, I bet. So
Yeah.
that's incredible. That's incredible. And I'm sure that there's a lot of women out there who really need to understand what diastasis is and how it can affect your mental health when you're working out, you're working hard, and you don't see results. So really amazing results from her clients. I recommend having a conversation with Marta if you're in that section of that portion of your life, that stage. But thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah. One more thing I want to mention. You know what? I find some of my clients, they never close that wall to this day. I have a client who's 50. Her youngest child is 14 years old. She has a 4-centimeter gap that was never closed. So many women will have this pouch their entire life thinking, well, this is just what happens when you have babies. So you can still close it. It's never too late. You can improve it if you know what you're looking for. So it's not just for women who just had a baby. It's women who have that pouch and they're working out all the time. They're eating healthy and they're just at the point where, well, I guess this is it. I'm just going to accept that this is how it's going to be. And they struggle with this and they think it's their fault, when in reality, it's such a simple solution. If you know you have that gap, you measure the distance, boom, you start implementing certain routines to help close it. And then you have a chance to actually lose that belly fat because you brought your muscles back together. Now your abdominal wall is working. Now your glutes are working. You can actually see some results. Because even after all these years, when those muscles are open, your butt isn't firing. So you're probably having lower back problems, right? Your butt is sagging because butt's not firing. Everything is connected through your abdomen to the back. And when your butt isn't working, it's pulling on the quads. You're having knee problems, back problems. And you're just accepting, I'm just old, this is the way it is. Might as well drink wine.
I mean, wine is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good information. And I'm sure it's not widely known about this condition and if it can be fixed without major surgery.
Correct, yeah.
That's very interesting. Well, thank you again so much for your time. It was wonderful speaking with you.